how to build your own agent skills in Visual Studio Code. Github Copilot. Agent skills have been taking the limelight recently, and for good reason. Agent skills are technology introduced by Anthropic. They have now been embraced by the wider AI community, and they are basically a list of skills inside a folder. Instructions, when I say skills, we're talking about instructions, scripts, resources that your GitHub Copilot can use when it wants to perform a task. Agent skills bring many advantages, the key one being that they are selected by the AI agent itself. In the case of prompt files, custom prompts, or custom agents that we already been using in Visual Studio Code, you have to select them. And many times you may forget. But with agent skills, the agent selects it when it is needed. More importantly, agent skills can greatly complement the custom instructions that you already give to GitHub Copilot. Now I put a link here on visual skills in agent skills in Visual Studio Code, and you can follow that link there to go and find out more about it. Also, the requirements, I've put them here. Of course, you need Visual Studio Code, at least version 1.109.3. So if you've got anything older than that, please do an update. Of course, having a GitHub account and GitHub Copilot. If you don't have a subscription, you can have the trial and you'll be able to use that there. And also Git. Now, that should be about Git 2.52, something like that. That's Git that we're at the moment. I would mention Git because if you are having an AI agent edit your code, you better have a good version control. I have another video on how to do version control with Git. You can take a look at that. Okay, now here's my folder setup. Just open here, you can see where my folders. So I've got my .github folder, very important, and inside there, I have got an agents folder. That's for custom agents. Custom agents are different from agent skills. My general instructions, that's very important because there I've got instructions on how I want it to write. My CSS, my HTML, my JavaScript, my PHP, and even when I'm writing documents, and my Python, I haven't put that one in there. So you put all your skills there. And then of course, all your instructions there. Okay, so your instructions, general instructions go inside there, and you also have a Copilot instructions. That's the first one that GitHub Copilot will look for. In my case, I have redirected it to the agents.md because all AI agents now understand agents. And so here's my agents. So this is the instructions that they would all be following. Okay, so all that I've shown you so far has got nothing to do with skills. They're still there, and they are going to be complemented by skills. Okay, so let's just close that down to give us some more space. So what we want to do now is we want to create an agent skill for inside Visual Studio Code. I am going to use a template, and I've given you the address here of where I've got my template from. So you can go there, I've highlighted it, and it's a skill called Refactor. It is a skill which will help you check your code. I've already taken a copy of one of those. So you can go there, just once you go to that link, just click on raw and copy all the raw code. Skills sometimes come with more than one file, but this one is good. It is just one file, skills.md. Now, I've copied that file. I put it inside my PID folder because I want to make some changes to it. Okay, so here it is. If you go and you copy that file, this is what you're going to get. The only difference I have got here is I've put that piece there on the top of it. And I've also made another change. Notice here, I added this bit. Now, anytime you go and get a skill, I would highly recommend that you read through it and see what it's saying. Even on the repository, not all of them are written that well, not because of their fault, but this is a very fast-moving technology. I particularly like how this one is written because it's very generic, okay? And I'll show you what I mean by that. But this is what I've added. Before making any changes, before editing, modifying, or deleting any code, you must and I've told it the things I want it to do. I want it to present me a list of every file it's going to edit. I want it to give me a snapshot of all the relevant code it's going to change. I want it to briefly describe the planned changes for these items. And I want it to ask me and wait for me to confirm before it proceeds. I've been doing a lot of work on code. I just don't want AI going there and changing everything without me knowing beforehand. Now, this is all written in Markdown. Again, I've given you the link on how you can write these things. So follow the link on the description, but it's all written in Markdown. You can get copies of it. Apart from that, I haven't changed anything else. But if you go down looking through this code, you will find that it's very generic. And what I mean by that is that this could work for PHP, it could work for JavaScript. It's not been that specific. It's almost like pseudocode, but that is fine. And the reason why it's going to work well for me is because inside my GitHub folder, I have got specific instructions for how I want it to write all those individual files. So for example, for my JavaScript, I am very specific that it must use ES6 at least and above, which means I don't want any of those VARs hanging about, if you know anything about JavaScript. Okay, so that's what I've done. And here is my file of the agent skill. Now, you would have noticed that I've still got this inside, let's do this, inside my PRD folder. That's not where it should live. Agent skill should be inside a skills folder. Now, you can set up where you want it to go, but if you're using Visual Studio Code, by default, it will come inside your .github folder, and inside there will be a skills folder, and then inside the skills folder will be different folders which bear the name of the skill you want to use. I'm going to call this one refactor code. So there will be another refactor code inside the skills folder, and that's where this one will go. Now, the easiest way to get this done is this. I am going to copy everything from here all the way to the end. I didn't copy that first line because that first line, I put it there just for clarity. It's not part of the skill. Okay, so I'm copying all of that. Copy. So I've copied that now with the other edits that I've added to it. And now I'm going to go to, let's make some more space here. I'm going to go to my toggle to come into my chat. You see this little icon here where it says configure. I'm going to click on that and you will see skills. I'm going to select skills. And now I want to have a new skill and I want to put it inside the GitHub skills folder and I want to call it refactor-code. That's what I want to call mine, and enter. And you see what it does for me. Now it has called that the same name as the folder in which it's in. Now I can now come and make changes to all of this. Because I have copied all that code already, I am simply going to paste everything I've copied over that and then make sure that I go back and change this name back to code. Okay, let me just save this. And then when I come back in here into my folders now, you will see that inside my, let's just minimize those, right, inside my GitHub folder, minimize that down, my skills folder, notice I've now got a refactor code. And that's it. My skill has now been set. Now, I'm just going to close this bit down here. And I'm going to close down this, this skill here. I'm going to close that. Okay. And then I'm going to go File, Close Folder. Now, the reason why I'm closing my folder is because I sometimes notice that when you make a skill for the first time, it doesn't register it if you do not close and open up the application again. So now I've reopened up my application and there you can see my skills folder and there is my refactor one. Okay, so now let's come and give it a quick run. And to do this, I am going to go into my work area folder where I've got a file there called moving text. It is a very simple, very basic little script. Let's see if I can show that to you. I'm going to go into, let me minimize that. I'm going to right click this and open it in the default browser. Here we are. And if I said, let me know tomorrow. Okay. And when I click submit, the text scrolls off the page and then something comes up saying, thank you, your words have been filed. And that comes back again. Very, very simple, basic stuff. Okay. So there we are. It's written in JavaScript. Let me come and do a check on it. And to do that, what I'm going to do now is click on this and I'm going to say, so you can see it's on this page. I'm going to say refactor this script. Basically, check it. Make sure it's written well. Make sure it's production ready. And let's see. Off you go. Notice I didn't tell it about my skill. Okay? I just said refactor this script. Now, you can see it's working along. It's read my CSS. It's showing me all the pages that I've read here, that is consulting. And let's see here too. This here would have probably reviewed skills instructions and current. Okay. And let me just click here and see. Yeah. Okay. So there it looked at my Copilot and my agents. Good. So it's still evaluating, going along. And we will soon, now. Very good. Now you can see straight away that it has read my skills because number one is asking, the animation remains, okay, shall I proceed? Now remember in my skills, I told it very clearly that before it makes any change, it should let me know. And that's exactly what it's done. Now let me make this a bit larger for you. If you click on there, I can come here so you can see it much more better now. So here we are. So here it is. Reviewed the skills instructions, reviewed 5 files, analyze refactor code skill. So there you can see it has read the skill and it has followed that. I didn't tell it to. You don't have to. As long as you put one of the keywords there, like refactor, it will look to see if it's got that skill. It's seen that it's got it. It's followed the guidelines. So now we are. It's looked at the CSS, which is good. It's looked at the JavaScript that also goes with it, because those are the 2 files that works along with it. And then it's looked at it's given me a list of what it's going to change. So the global constant user input, wrap everything in an IIFME, okay? Nested this anonymous function, plan chains, extract this and this as standalone name functions, which is good. Okay, so it's telling me all the things that it's going to do. I'm not going to dwell too much on that. But even though this code was written in AI before, you can see that it could still make changes to it. And now it's told me the changes that it's going to do. Should I proceed? And now I should say yes. So inside here, I'm going to say yes. Proceed. And off it goes to do its work. I'm going to minimize that. Put that back. So here we are back here. And it's going off. It's doing its thing. And there we are. Well, I want to keep this nice and short. So there you are, agent skills in Visual Studio Code. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll bring you another video later. Thank you very much.